everyone, it's Rachel and welcome back to Book and Bloom. Today I'm going to be talking about finishing your goals. I don't know if anyone else relates to this, but a lot of times I start goals and I never finish them. What are we missing? What are the things that actually get us to finish our goals instead of just merely starting them? And before I get into that, which you're more than welcome to skip this part if you're not interested. But I just wanted to share a little story of how this came to be and the book that really inspired this. Last year, I saw on my shelf 3 books that I had borrowed from a friend, and it had been over a year since I borrowed those books, and I still hadn't read them. And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to read those books because I want to read them and I want to be able to return them to her next time I see her. And so I read those books. And the last book that I read that I had borrowed from her was Finish by Jonikoff. It kind of blew my mind a little bit because that summer I was planning on starting a completely new writing project. I'm a writer, so I was going to start a new novel idea, but I had several other projects that I have been working on for years, and the biggest project was a novel that I had started since I was in high school and had really made a million different drafts that were so messy and all over the place, nowhere near where it needs to be considered a novel. Like, I hadn't even really technically finished it. Because of being so inspired by that book, I decided that I was going to, instead of starting a new project, I was going to finally strive to finish the novel that I have been working on for years. And I'm still working on it. I know, like, it's writing a book, especially the first time, is quite a process because you're learning how to do it. That book, I highly recommend it. That book heavily inspired this video today, and I really learned a lot. It's like things that I knew, but things that I wasn't really aware that I actually wasn't being intentional about pursuing. But let's get into things that has helped me to actually finish my goals, which, side note, I did finish the goal. So I started it last summer, and my goal, I followed the principles that I learned from that book, and I completed the goal that I set out to do. So I wanted to write 100,000 words in a year. As a writer, that's not that ambitious, but I did it. I finished it 3 months before. That was even after having a month of not writing at all. That's why all of these things are really important, because sometimes life happens and you don't make any progress. Those are the moments where it's really easy to give up completely, but the difference is having the right mindsets is you push through and you get back on track and you push through the difficulties instead of giving up. Number 1 is be smart. Some of you might already be familiar with this acronym. It stands for specific, measurable, obtainable, relevant, and timely. These are the key kind of points that you want to meet with your goal. Your goal can be sometimes too vague. A lot of people are too vague with their goal. They're like, I want to be healthy. I want to be a writer. That's great. But what does that look like for you? How are you going to, what steps are you going to take to do those things? So you could definitely be too vague and you could definitely be too specific. The sweet spot with making a goal is be specific, but to also have flexibility. Also remember that life happens and sometimes you're not going to be able to sit down for however much time to write for that day. And that's okay. That doesn't mean you're a failure. A really great example would be, I'm going to write every weekday for 30 minutes and then go the extra mile and actually think about what time of day do you plan to write. But don't be so strict and so structured that if that time passes, you think to yourself, oh, well, I wasn't able to write this morning, and that's my usual writing time. I don't have my favorite tea. I don't have my favorite candle. Oh, I'm traveling. I'm not going to write today. So don't make it too strict and too structured to the point where you basically make excuses not to do it. Be flexible with it, but also do still think about, what am I going to do to actually achieve that? What can I do to be successful at that? So be specific. Definitely have a form of measurement. I included, a amount of time for 30 minutes. And obviously that shouldn't mean like 30 minutes is met, I'm just instantly going to drop everything and that's it. On a day where you're super busy and you're tired and that's all you can give, that's great. But also don't feel like if you only have 10 minutes that you shouldn't even try, that you shouldn't even give your 10 minutes. Make sure you have a form of measurements. So this could be minutes, this could be workouts, this could be words, whatever is related to your goal. Just make sure you have a way to actually measure it. That's the problem a lot of times with goals. A lot of people say like, oh, I want to do this more, I want to read more. Well, how much more do you want to read? Oh, I want to write more. Okay, well, how much more do you want to write? Actually put a number on it, or put a form of measurement with it. It doesn't have to be exact number per se, but just make sure you can measure it, and kind of keep track of like, okay, did I do this thing? Did I not? How much time did I spend? How much time, how many words did I write? Just make sure to have a form of measurement. And then for attainable, definitely make sure it's possible. Make sure it's realistic. I will get a little bit more into depth into this particular side of things later, but definitely make sure it's possible. So it's awesome to be ambitious, but you have to be careful that you don't push yourself to the point where you hurt yourself, or you burn out, or you hurt other people. You have to be realistic. And I know that doesn't sound fun. I know that we want the gold star. We want the first place, right? We don't want bronze. Bronze is boring. But if you are starting from square one, bronze is amazing. Showing up is amazing. Running a mile is amazing if you've never run before. Setting a more realistic goal for yourself and then blowing it out of the water is so much better of a feeling than trying something that is too difficult for yourself and reaching it halfway and feeling like a failure, instead of acknowledging the actual progress that you did make. So that just make sure to be realistic with your goal. I know it's not fun. I know it's kind of lame, but with time and with pursuing these particular goals, you're only gonna get stronger. You're only gonna become a better writer, better whatever. Like, you're just going to grow. It will get easier and you will be able to make more ambitious goals for yourself. So don't get discouraged. Next is relevant. This is another one that's not super fun. This is the one that really makes you ask yourself, okay, is this really something that I should be doing? Is this really important? Am I just making this goal because I saw a random TikTok video and it made me really inspired and now I'm having identity crisis? Maybe that's not the best choice. That one's a little bit more introspective. Is this relevant? Is this something that is really important? Is this a good use of my time? And next is timely. So try to have a deadline or amount of time that you plan to do this. So to go off of my example from earlier, adding on to it that I will write for 30 minutes every weekday for a month. That's a great place to start. A month is a really great amount of time to pursue a goal, especially one that you want to become a part of your lifestyle, because that is around the amount of time that it takes to form a habit. A lot of times we go for like the really ambitious goals, like year-long. I really like having year-long goals, then also breaking those down into quarterly goals, and then of course breaking it down again and having monthly goals within those quarters. So I think that is a good way to kind of actually achieve those bigger goals, because a lot of times people make New Year's resolutions, and a year for some things can be kind of a short amount of times, but in other things it can feel like a lot of time. So having like that sweet spot of like quarters is a great thing to do. Months is also a great kind of way to check on your progress. Make sure to have a timely aspect to your goal. Number 2, in my opinion, the most important, progress over perfection. You need to write this everywhere, I swear. Like, this is really important. Oftentimes, that is the enemy. Perfection is a lot of times the reason why people don't even start things that they want to do, because they think, I can't do that. I can't do that as well as that person. I can't write to that level, so I'm not going to even try. I'm not going to even bother. We want things to look a certain way. We want to achieve these certain sparkly, perfect expectation that we have in our head for things. And if it doesn't, and if in our minds we think, oh, well, I can't do that, then we don't even try. And because you don't try, of course you'll never get there. Take your messy progress with you. Take your bad words, write them on a page. You know what? Guess what? You wrote. Because in my opinion, there's no bad writing. There's good writing, and then there's writing that's going to make you be a better writer. All of it is helpful, and it's the same way with a lot of things in life. The days that you show up at the gym or you do your workout and you are like, you're just pushing through, but you just aren't you're just not in the mood, you don't want to do it. Guess what? You still did it. That's still amazing. That's still great. There's a balance with it. We should strive to have self-discipline and strive for consistency, but again, not to perfection, not to the point of like, oh, I'm exhausted. It's 12 a.m. I have something really important tomorrow. But I'm going to stay up and finish my goal because I can't lose my streak. That's perfection talking. So you have to listen. Okay, is it progress or is it perfection talking? They can look different, right? So progress is not always doing your goal, pushing yourself. You have to be kind to yourself too. Progress over perfection. Make sure to really prioritize that, really think about that. I write that everywhere, honestly. This next one, number 3, is not going to be popular. I'm sorry to tell you this. I know you're not going to like this idea. This kind of goes along with the attainable part of SMART. Half your goals or double your deadline. This is a good way to make your goal actually obtainable. So if you want to write a book and you want to do it in a year, give yourself 2 years. I know that is not fun. I know that it's lame, it's boring, it's like, ugh. Would you rather do this in 2 years or not do it at all? Because oftentimes that is what happens. We try to do it in a year, we get burnt out, we get discouraged, we give up, and then we never do it. What this is doing, it's progress over perfection. Perfection tells you, I want to do this and I want to do it in the most shiny, in the most cool way. I want to do it fast. I want to do it ambitious. And I think that also gets you thinking like, okay, why? Why do you want to do this thing? Because if you aren't willing to do this in a way that's less cool, that is less ambitious, that's less attractive to you, then I really wonder if you truly want to do it at all. A lot of the times, the process is not pretty. It's ugly. It is not cute. It is the pushing through on days where you're tired. It's showing up even though you don't want to. It's saying no to things sometimes that you really want to say yes to. It's hard work. It's not pretty. Are you willing to put up with that? This is a part of the process. It's making it less cool, but in the process, it's making it easier to reach. And guess what? You have freedom. On days where you have extra time, you can go harder, you can go longer, and you can do more. And if you can destroy your goal and finish it in 6 months, or finish it finish the book in a year instead of 2 years. Like, you still have that freedom. To give a good example, during my goal of writing 100,000 words in a year, I went an entire month without writing at all. And if I would have had a more ambitious goal, I would have given up, right? Because I would have felt like there's no way that I can make up my progress. Like, I lost an entire month. But because I had such a realistic goal, I actually finished way early instead of giving up. Next up, this is also another one I'm going to keep on the bandwagon of things that you probably you don't want to hear. Give and take. Maybe you magically already have time in your busy schedule for this thing. Maybe there is an hour that you just kind of sit and you just stare at the wall, and you're just like, wow, I should do something during this time. But most likely you don't have just that random time. In order to add something in, you need to take something out. You're going to have to choose something to sacrifice, something to give up, something to take away in order to make room for this thing. And it doesn't have to always be a bad thing. Sometimes it's a good thing. I think that thinking about these things really helps you to be aware of how are you spending your time? What are your priorities? And is this thing in your life that you spend a lot of time doing, or you spend some time doing, is this important to you? Is this helping you? Is this really valuable to you? Maybe I'm going to exchange the time that I spend watching this TV show that I don't really like that much for writing, and I'm gonna write for that amount of time instead. I know that that's not fun, but it can be a really helpful and really beneficial thing for you to really think about, okay, how am I spending my time and what's important to me? The less attractive method is the tortoise approach. We, as again, it's kind of the perfectionist mindset. We want the rabbit approach, right? We want to finish it. We want to finish it quickly. We want to be ambitious. We want this like really epic kind of progress. Just keep on getting, just this. We want this. We want this really cool graph that has this really tense incline. We want it to look like this, actually. We want like instant progress, right? That's not how life works a lot of times. And really, the fact is, our goals are things that tell us what kind of person we want to be. It's something that becomes a part of our lifestyle. And so that is not something that you make this huge change, this huge transformation. In the snap of a finger, you're a completely different person. It happens slowly. And that's not fun. I know it's not exciting. It's not attractive. It's not sparkly and fun. But it's more sustainable. Because you're going to be making progress. You're going to be really, truly making habits and becoming the person that does these things. Instead of looking at like, oh, I'm going to do this thing. No, I'm going to become the person that does these things, and it's going to become a part of my lifestyle. So being healthy, like working out, like, no, I'm going to be a person who's healthy, who works out. I'm going to be a writer. So that means I write. I have a writing habit. I think about a really great quote. It's actually by Confucius. It doesn't matter how slowly you go, as long as you don't stop. I just really love that approach, that mindset. And having a slow approach, making it something that's really easy and realistic. Like, you feel like, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to do that. Like, I'm going to make that happen. I'm going to do that, because it's so simple. It's so obtainable. And doing all those steps leading up to this, making it something that's like really approachable, is so helpful. And having that tortoise approach, the progress approach instead of perfection approach, it's like one of those things that like you do it every single day because you're like, yeah, I'm going to do that because it's so easy. I can do that. And then over time, because that gets easy, that becomes easier and easier for you. you can gradually crank it up, turn up the intensity of it, and now you're writing 1,000 words a day instead of 100 words a day. Even just giving up buying coffee and saving that money and putting it into your savings account and doing that every time that you would have gone to a coffee shop. It's not a lot of money, but then at the end of the year, that adds up. That's the tortoise approach. And it works. Thinking about that approach, you will end up having far more progress than if you felt like you had to do it fast. And going along with that, number 6 is every little bit counts. It's this mindset of feeling like you don't have to make these huge leaps and bounds whenever you make growth, whenever you make progress. There's two sides of extremes. So if you have your goal, you might be the kind of person that you will meet that goal, but you will do no extra. You might be the kind of person that always feels like you have to do extra, that you always feel like you have to double the goal, you have to do so much more, you have to make all this huge, big leaps and bounds in your progress. Both are not good mindsets to have. You need to be in the middle. Every little bit counts. So if you have a few extra minutes, then use them. Why not? If all you have is 5 minutes for that day, then sit down and write for 5 minutes. That's still better than not writing at all. Why not do just a little bit extra? That's not to say that you can never go above and beyond if you want to, never go the extra mile if you want to. Like if you have the time, then sure, like why not? If you have the time, if you're excited, if you're just like really inspired, then go ahead, go the extra mile. But don't feel like every single time that you go the extra length, it has to be an extra mile. Like it's okay if it's just 5 minutes. And likewise, if you can't even meet the goal for the day, whatever time that you do have that you can give to your goal and make towards your progress, then use it. Like celebrate that. That's great. That's awesome. It still counts. And obviously all that little extra progress that you do, it adds up. That's also the process of you growing, right? You improving, you're becoming stronger. It doesn't seem like a lot in the moment, but that is making you stronger. Number 7 is kind of 2 in 1, but I think they're kind of related to each other because they're mindsets. Be kind and have fun. Plot twist, guys. There are 2 silent letters in the SMART acronym, and they're kind and fun. And that's not true, but let's just imagine it with me. So first of all, be kind. So the days that you're exhausted and you don't have it in you, instead of telling yourself that you're a failure because you didn't show up, be kind to yourself. Don't push yourself so far that you break. Don't push yourself so far that you hurt yourself or you hurt what's important to you, like relationships, like your life, like your self-worth. Like be kind with yourself. Like even if things aren't like maybe in the moment, maybe you're not feeling it. Maybe you're struggling in your goal. Maybe you're getting discouraged. Maybe you're not making as much progress as you expected. Be kind to yourself. Don't be mean to yourself. Don't be mean to you. Don't be mean. It's okay to take breaks. It's okay that you're not meeting these expectations that you hoped you would. Try to look at the progress that you made. Try to look at what you have achieved instead of thinking about what you haven't achieved yet or the milestones you haven't gotten to yet. Maybe you need to reflect. Maybe you need to adjust your goal. That is okay. There's no shame in that. You're not a loser. You're not less than if you have to change your goal and make it a little bit different. That's totally okay. Because guess what? Look at you. You are pursuing your goals. That is amazing. That is awesome. And if it takes a little bit longer than you than you expected, that's okay, because the next time you pick up another goal, you'll be able to do even more. You will be stronger. You will have learned more things. You will be able to go further. So don't get discouraged. Be kind to yourself. Also, have fun. Have fun. Make your goal something that is fun. Maybe that is making your favorite tea and lighting a candle, like romanticizing your goal a little bit. Maybe it's wearing something really fun when you do your goal, taking a walk or going on a run at your favorite place. Whatever it is, try to incorporate something that's really fun, something that gets you excited about it. Getting a pretty journal, or getting cute workout clothes, or doing a class with your friends, or going to your favorite coffee shop to write. Talking about it with people too, like talking about it, getting excited about it with your friends. I feel like that really helps too. I know that a lot of people, they're scared. They're scared to talk about their goals or things that they want because they're scared they're gonna fail. Failure is scary, rejection is scary. But the fact is, like, a lot of times the people that are really successful, we think that, like, oh, they've arrived, they've achieved it. Like, surely that means they haven't experienced failure. But oftentimes the most successful people that you know are well acquainted with failure, and it's because they didn't give up. It's not that they never failed, it's just that they kept getting back up and pushing through. I guess this is a part of be kind, right? So be kind to yourself to the point where, okay, you failed, time to get back up. Let's try a different strategy. Let's try something new. Be kind and have fun. Number 8 is have accountability. So this is kind of going also along with what I said earlier about talking about your goals with your friends and your family. But having accountability, having maybe join a writing group or a book club, or have accountability partner, have something that makes you show up. Usually the best way to do that is to invite someone in, and to have someone that you talk about your goal with, that you share your progress with. But there's also other ways to have accountability, even just if, like, it's a health related goal, like signing up for a class. And it's just so fun because you get to share it with someone that you really care about. And also bonus points if you're their accountability partner, because I think also, like, having that back and forth is really helpful. You don't have to necessarily both be pursuing the same goal. Even having different goals and just being there for each other, it really spurs you on. It really helps you keep going. It keeps your momentum. It keeps your excitement. Signing up for an open mic, or wanting to publish something, wanting to participate in a contest, like, I don't know, there's a lot of different ways to have accountability. And 9 is visualize your progress. I know we talked about measuring, but this is a little bit different because measuring can sometimes just be, did I do this thing today? Yes or no? Or how many minutes did I do this thing? But you don't get to see the full scope. That is why visualizing your progress is really helpful. If you're a writer, this might be helpful to you. I made a video about writing resources, and in that video I shared one of my favorite goal tracking tools. This could be used by anyone. It doesn't have to be just for writing. It could be literally anything that you can have a unit of some kind that you are measuring. It's called Pacemaker. I'm not sponsored by them, just so you guys know. I just really stinking love Pacemaker, and honestly, Pacemaker, if you want to sponsor me, like, I will happily be your spokesperson because I love what you do. But yeah, so this is a great example of a way that you guys can visualize your progress. Going off of what I said earlier about having fun, take something that you already really love and apply your goal to it. So maybe you love the paint by number paintings, then get one that is for your goal, and that when you make progress, you can fill in a part of the picture. Or it's, and you add marbles to a jar, or you put coins in a piggy bank. You have a journal that you keep track of your progress in. Have a chart that you color in yourself. You have a coloring page that you color in. I don't know. Get creative with it. Have fun with it. Whatever it is, find a way to visualize your progress, because this will help you to be really celebratory and really see the milestones, really see the progress that you're making. That's another way to do it, is to plan milestones and to plan specific, maybe it's a specific thing that you're going to do to celebrate those milestones. This is going into my next point, which is to celebrate your milestones, celebrate your progress, celebrate when you finish your goal. Truly celebrate. Think of something that you want to do to celebrate. This is something I need to get better at, honestly, because the day that I met my goal, about the only celebratory thing that happened was Pacemaker threw some confetti at me, and then I was able to see my progress report, and that was pretty cool. But I didn't really do anything to celebrate. So that's something I need to I need to get better at. But maybe it's something that has been on your wish list, and you promised it to yourself that you're gonna get this thing, or you're gonna go to this place, or you're gonna do something. Truly think about, how are you gonna celebrate? What do you want to do to celebrate? Share it with your friends. Get excited. Don't just keep it to yourself, but truly do something to celebrate. Get a cake. Buy yourself a cake that says yay. Do something. Make a cake. You want to save some money, make yourself a cake. You deserve it. Maybe go out and get a slice of cake, but do something. Please do something to celebrate, because that is amazing that you did it. Those are my tips. Those are my pieces of advice to help you guys with your goals. And I would love to hear from you guys. What are some of your goals? What are some things that have helped you? Please let me know if any of you try these out and it's helpful to you. I would absolutely love to hear back from you guys and to hear about your goals, your progress, what works for you, what you've learned. Thank you guys so much for watching. Read a book, finish a goal, and bloom on. Bye!